Good morning, and welcome to Winnipeg. Now, first of all, our clocks, or our timepieces, did get the radio signal last night. So that means that, can you see my watch there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, everything's on time. We don't need to worry about being a second out now. Okay. Now, secondly, I kind of came back to the model table. Well, I did something model related, but I did not paint the top here like I had planned. But what I did do was I went into the back room and I turned our sprue pen. Now, I know somebody's going to think, hey, I thought you were going to show us how that was done. Well, this is just the practice one. It came out pretty much exactly the way I thought it would. I had one little bit of a disappointment here. In fact, I can see it. I'll zoom in. I'll show you. I had a little bit of a, you might call it a blowout or a chip out. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute when I move in here. But I don't know if I'm going to waste a pen kit on this one or not, because I don't know if I can repair it. Maybe, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, why don't we just recompose here and get this sprue pen segment of our episode over, and then we can get on with, what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. I would probably give the finish a, the glossiness, I would give it 9 out of 10. That came out pretty good. But as far as where I had little chip outs, I don't know if you can see it, but there's one right there. And the worst one is right here at the very end. You can actually see the brass tube. Maybe I'll take this apart here. Okay, we don't need all these other pieces. Okay, just so that you can sort of see what we got going on here, I'll just sort of, okay, but there's this, where is it here? Yeah, this right here. I'm just wondering if maybe I could, maybe sprue goo, build it up a little bit. At least the sprue goo would be the exact same color as all the chips, and then you wouldn't see the brass tube. But really, a blank like this, the way this turned out, I don't know if I'm so unhappy with this that I don't know if I want to waste a pen kit. Yet on the other hand, I've got a lot of them, so maybe I'll put it together. But I got this one right here, and let's see if I can get the light just right here. It's pretty hard for you to see it. Well, I guess if it's hard to see, well, then why worry about it, right? But I know it's there. Okay, let's stop talking about the pen right now, and I'll think during the rest of the day what I'm going to do about it. And you can see here we're a little piece of it chipped out of somewhere else. Where did that come from now? Oh, right here. Okay, I see what's happening. I can see what's happening. This little chip right here, it came out from right there. So that means that the plastic was not sticking real well to the acrylic. I think what I'm going to do is wash all the other pieces that we're going to be using later in, I was going to say acetone, but we won't use that because it'll dissolve it. Maybe isopropyl 99% or something like that. Get rid of any grease. It could be that this piece here had a little bit of grease on it, and it just the acrylic did not adhere to it well. But now there is another reason why this might have happened, and that is that I hadn't used my scraper for a long time, and I couldn't remember if I had just sharpened it before I I used it this last night or not. It's it could be a little bit on the dull side. It felt sharp. It felt sharp. If it didn't feel sharp, I would have taken the time out to sharpen it. But anyway, I got two blowouts here. Yeah, that's too bad. But the rest of the pen looks, it doesn't look too bad. I kind of like the way those little chips show up, and I'm thinking that in all likelihood, instead of black, we have green. Like our cloth here. It might be okay. That is for the real, what I'm calling the real pen. This was just our practice to see how these chips would look. And as I mentioned, they came out pretty much exactly the way I thought they would. So. Okay. Now, Chris, this is your fault. Had to make a new list. Yeah. I got to use these cups in order. Otherwise, somebody's going to think I'm playing favorites. Now, the pizza cup is the wild card. It gets used every seventh day, regardless of how many cups we have here. Anyway, we're going to call our new cup the Pebble Creek cup. Okay, we're back here again. I know this doesn't look like painting, does it? Anyway, I just wanted to mention that there are probably several reasons why this broke out. But I'm thinking that possibly one of the reasons was because when I used the pen mill or the barrel trimmer, whatever you want to call it, it's possible that I did not go far enough in, and it could be that the bushings, like this part here, was pushing on the acrylic instead of on the brass tube. I'm going to look at it under the microscope later. I won't bore you with that. I'll do it off camera. Okay. Then the other possibility is these are basically the two scrapers that I used. And I think it was this one here that I was using near the end, but I was also using the larger one. I took most of the work down with the larger one here, and if these are not razor sharp, acrylic does not cut well. It can chip out. Now, the fact that I did not go in far enough with a barrel trimmer explains what could have happened on the end. But where we've got this other little flaw here, which is so insignificant I can't even find it now. Oh, there it is. No, that's not it. Yeah, it is. There's a little flaw right there. And okay, enough about this. Now the third thing that I thought of is that if I had have turned this soon after it became hard, like after I poured it, and the chemicals reacted and it became hard, it might have been less brittle. But on the other hand, I've got acrylic blanks that are years old, so I just don't know. I'm wasting a lot of time here, and I should be painting. I think that this is the last 77 I've got left here. And I'm glad the weather's getting better, because it's a lot easier to run to the hobby store and pick something up. Okay, so the plan is to use my wide brush, and what I'm going to try to do is not have it so thick that when I get to the edge here and continue on, the paint is going to run over and down the other side, if you know what I mean. I'm not noticing I got some little bristles sticking out there. That's kind of dangerous. Okay. I'm glad I got my masking tape there. Now, in all likelihood, I'm going to have to do 2 coats here. And a lot of this, if you remember, is going to be covered up anyway. But I'd like to sort of have the edges that are going to be seen. Now, I know this isn't what you call dry brushing, but to me it almost is. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to take my little brush and go around the outside with the 19. Okay, you know what? Somebody's looking at the pen and they're not watching me paint. Come on. Now, as mentioned, I am going to do 2 coats here, so I just don't want to put it on so thick that it's going to run down the side of the. And I know that I realize this looks like a terrible job, because it is. Oh, you can't see it if I turn it like that, can you? And yet now I'm using my left hand, and I'm not quite as good with my left hand as I am with my right. Oh, that's a little bit thick. It's a little bit heavy there. When I give it the second coat, I'll have it adjusted so that the light is best for me instead of best for the camera. Okay, I don't think I need to cut here. Yeah, no. How are the edges there? There's a little bit faint right there. Okay, let's just let that dry, and then I'm going to probably give it the second coat off camera, and then we'll take a look at it. Now, our sunrise this morning, you might say, was sort of cloudy. In fact, I think the weatherman is predicting that we're going to be getting snow later today, probably around this evening. Anyway, it's still wintertime here in Winnipeg. And as for our walkers, they were a few minutes earlier than they were yesterday in the last few days. So, but that's all right. It's their business. They can come and go whenever they want, right? Anyway, that's about it. Nothing spectacular. Just a very ordinary, cloudy sunrise. Okay, our second coat is on. And I think I did a pretty good job at not getting it down the sides of the superstructure. In fact, I don't think I have to do any touch-ups. This has got to be a first. Okay. Let's recompose here and remove our masking tape. Not bad. At least it looks good to me. Now, you see all these little details on the top here. Now it's been suggested that maybe I would paint this entire oval piece, the 77, but you know, I changed my mind on that. And what I'm going to try to do is very carefully with my tiniest brush, see if I can't just paint these details. Now these ones here that I'm touching right now, these four, they shouldn't be too hard. But something like this flatter piece right here, there's going to be the risk of getting it out onto the, and I don't know if I can mask that or not. I know I wouldn't be able to mask the round piece. Maybe, you know, I might be better off just leaving these two pieces alone and just try and darken these ones right here, bring out a little bit of detail. I don't know. Somebody like Gabe who can, you know, paint really fine, he'd be able to do something like this, but I'm thinking that it might be just a little bit beyond my expertise, as I like to say. Okay, I am moved right in here now, about as close as I can get. And this is the 77. I was thinking of trying to paint down the sides of these things, but I'm realizing that in all likelihood I'd go too far down. So we're just going to touch up the tops. And that should sort of highlight them a little bit. Now, do I dare do anything with these ones here? Let's just see what will happen. Now there's this is probably too minute to be noticed. There, I don't think I got it on anything else. That sort of brings it out just a little bit, just sort of highlights it. It would be really nice if I could use something like the 66 to have gone all around these pieces, but as I mentioned, I'd probably end up getting it on the top where I don't want it. Okay, we'll just let that dry. Now, I was going to open up our 77 here to paint these, but I think probably the 66 might be better. It will then they'll match the other pieces that are much the same size, and I think the pipes that are going to go up the sides of the funnel will probably also be the 66. So let's push stop here. Okay, I've just shaken up a jar of 66. I think I've only got two left. One brand new one, at least I think it's brand new, and this one here that's been thinned out. It's pretty watery. I think I thinned it out a couple of times before spraying, and I've used Chris's alligator clips to grab onto these just by the positioning pin underneath. So I think that's going to work out okay. I might have to do 2 coats, we'll see here. I'll move in just a little bit. That may help. Yeah, we should be able to see that. I can put it on fairly thick. Now the bottom of them is where it's going to go up against the side of the superstructure, so. Yeah, I think these are going to need 2 coats. Might not look like any's going on there, but it is. I didn't have enough on my brush the first time. Okay, I think you get the idea. Want to watch that I don't knock them out of the clip. Okay, I'll do the rest off camera. Okay, now remember there was 2 places on this blank that had a piece broken out. Like you can see that one even without zooming in. And the other one was right underneath where the clip is. So we don't see that one. And I was thinking that I wonder if, rather than taking, and I've been talking about using sprue goo. Now I haven't tried this yet, but I'm wondering, could I put this piece back in there, wedge it in, with maybe the tiniest amount of CA thin. I haven't tried it, so let me just slip the macro lens on and we'll recompose here and see if we can do it. Okay, we're just going to do a dry run here. Now there's only one way that this can go in, and that's like this. Okay, I'm thinking that if I was to put a little bit of CA down inside there on the brass tube, it might work its way out, then drop this in place and then force it in. I think that probably wouldn't even take any, you might say, returning or polishing. Let's try it here. I don't know if I'm getting any. Okay, I'm pretty sure I got some that time. Now I don't want this to cure before I, whoops. Okay, now try and get that down into place. Does it look like it's going to go? Ooh, I marked it. How does that look? It doesn't feel too bad. Doesn't feel too bad. I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on there. Okay, let's not go scratching up our metal work here. All right, I think that looks better than it did. Okay, afterwards I shoved it down just a little bit further. And I would say it's probably at the point now where it is, you might say, perfect, almost. Okay, now this pen is what I would say acceptable. Well, we've got the second coat on our little vents or pipes or whatever they are. I think there's some kind of vents. Anyway, I think that's going to be just about it for this episode. However, just a moment. Get a piece of paper here, and people are giving me recommendations of, paint for the Yamato, which I still am planning to get, but it won't be tomorrow, and it sure isn't going to be today. Now, there's a tradition that I used to have every time I finished a pen. I bet you the Tennessee Jim knows what I'm going to do right now. And I haven't done this for, must be 5 years or so. But anyway, I'd finish a pen, and then I would do this. Maybe I should do it on the back. Does that look familiar, Jim? Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.